back to Cross Stitch the Globe. My name is Stephanie. This is a channel about cross stitch. And normally Allison is here with me today, but on our last Flosstube, her plans were to fix her attitude because she's in a little bit of a stitchy slump, and then she also has a terrible cold. So she was like, listen, I only stitched 2 days. I don't want to get you sick. Can I like not film today? And I was like, yeah, sure. So my husband was so nice and went over and got our ring light from her because it's both our light and our tripod. And then about 10 minutes ago, the light blew on it. So it's still being used as a tripod. It's a very overcast day. I think the light's going to be like actually okay. But, and the people who hate ring light reflections will just adore today because there won't be any. However, I am going to try like in post, if the color's not looking great, I might try and post when I edit to set some kind of, I'm not good with that level of editing. I'm not great with, but I might try to brighten it up with some kind of, I don't think they're called presets like they are in Lightroom. They're called something else. But anyway, so that's why Allison's on here. We have 3 kinds of videos on our channel. This is a floss tube. So this is a deep dive into my personal stitching. I have ironed all my projects. I have everything. Like I have Stitchy Kindness. I have all the stuff to show you guys, and those come out every other Monday. I anticipate Allison will be back for our next floss tube, but if she's still in a slump and wants to take a break, the deal when we started the channel is that she could take breaks whenever she wanted, and I would just keep it going and she could come back. So whenever she's needed to take a break, I've been happy to let her, because running an internet project like a floss tube week after week after week is quite hard. And so it's easier with 2 people if you just kind of agree that like the ball will keep rolling and you come back when you're ready. But I do think she'll be back for our next Flosstube Extra, because our next Flosstube Extra, which our extras come out on the Mondays in between floss tubes, and they're deep dives into things we don't have time for in these videos. And our next one is our free Christmas patterns video. So I anticipate she'll be back for that, because Allison loves Christmas and she loves free patterns, and she loves budget-friendly videos, like putting out videos that other people can use to save money too. So I think she'll be back for next Monday. However, we're going to play it by ear. So I'm going to do my research for my free Christmas pattern, so I'm ready to go. But if she needs another break, like especially if she's still sick, then we'll do something else, and we'll do that after that. On Thursdays, we come out with our 3rd type of video, which is, we call Flosstube Universities, and they are very short tutorials for new stitchers. The last one was about fabric margins, and I do have a disaster in my own personal stitching that I wish I had listened to myself in that video about, which I will talk to you guys about in new starts. All right, because I'm filming at my house on a Sunday, my kids are home, my husband is watching them. You may hear children noises. They're being watched and taken care of. And if there's any interruptions that require like a hug or something, I will just cut that out and you guys won't even know that it happened. Well, I'll probably talk about it, but you guys won't have to worry about that. All right, so let's dive in. All right, so I like to start out by, or we like to normally start out by thanking people who mentioned us on their channel. It's a great way for us to get back to the stitching community, and also recommend channels that are either like, because people who mention us a lot of times are people that we watch all the time too and are constantly interacting with. And that is a great way for you guys to hear about channels maybe you didn't know about. And then also sometimes new floss tubers will come up and say like, oh, these are who I've been watching. And it's really great because it's always fun to go check out someone new and see if they're going to be your vibe. And also we love the stitching community is very welcoming, and we want people to join us and feel welcome here. So, because our last video was our 5,000 subscriber celebration, and that was a very exciting milestone. We got it, and we've also put out like a lot of very topical extras recently. We have a few more mentions than normal, so I'm gonna go ahead and read them, but this is not typical. So Michelle from Bendy Stitchy mentioned us, and because she has started so we put out some free, like a free Halloween pattern and free autumn pattern videos, and she has decided to do a segment on a freebie every video. And since she puts out videos almost every week, that's a lot of freebies. And one of the things she's pledged to do is find super cool freebies that maybe other people wouldn't know about. And considering how long she's been stitching and part of the community, and how many people, like she goes back to the days of like cross stitch blogs. I bet she has access and knows about some very, very cool ones. So I'm really excited to watch that going forward. And multiple people messaged us and said, "Oh, Michelle Bindi mentioned you." So that was pretty exciting. And the next one is the Hathaway Stitchers. And we also, we also got several notifications from people to let us know that the Hathaway Stitchers mentioned us, which I watch Bindi Stitchy and the Hathaway Stitchers every video. So it's not like I was going to miss them, but it was still fun being told like, "Oh, these people that we love mentioned you." So the Hathaway Stitchers are going to do an intro kind of like ours in terms of like putting their pronouns and their Instagram handles up, because when you have 2 people, it's like a lot to say 6 pieces of information at the beginning, just for the introduction. So I thought that was very cool. And I love them, and I hope to like fangirl out at them at StitchCon. And then Annie from XO Needle and the Hey XO congratulated us on our 5,000 subscribers, and I will talk more about her in birthdays and starts. James the PH Stitcher watched and recommended our Mirabilia Wip Parade, and he is one of the kings of fancy lady stitching in the community, so that was a very high honor. Brittany Cross Stitches, and I didn't tag this video for Flosstube University, but I will go ahead and list this video there. She is a huge fancy lady stitcher, and she has an art background, and she did a video explaining how she chooses colors for her fancy ladies, and it was really interesting. She's a good watch if you just like fancy lady stitching, because she's always pulling out some Mirabilia unicorn or other. But she recommended our Mirabilia Wip Parade, which was also like a very high honor considering like I haven't finished any yet, and she's finished quite a few. Cat Hair and Stitches are new. They recommended our Magical Cross Stitch Flip Through, which I will get to Magical Cross Stitch in finishes. And they're new. Go check them out. They have 2 videos out. Black Coffee and Grits. Lisa, she influenced one of my pieces, like one of the whips that I'm working on, so I'll talk about her more later too, but she was talking about us in terms of like thrifting, which was really cool. And then Karen from KBH Stitches, who we love and who somehow like, I'm going to talk about this, but I have not gotten to watch much Flosstube because my daughter has gone from like, she reached new levels of toddlerhood that require like way more like just like focused watching. So I can't like, even though I put Flosstube on in the background, I'm not absorbing it very well. I have lipstick right. I'm not absorbing it very well, and I'm finding I'm having to watch multiple Flosstubes multiple times. So I need to go back and rewatch Karen's. Floss Boss and Cousins mentioned that they were watching our channel, which was like just like very cool. The Farm on Highway J, and we're working on one of the pieces together, like the Blackbird that I'm working on, but she also, I think she was in our, I'm pretty sure she was in the Hathaway Stitchers Secret Sal, I think is how I first met her. And then Sakurai from, she's Sakurai Stitches on, and I might be mispronouncing that because I watched it and was trying to make sure that I said it right. And now I might be mispronouncing it. So if I'm mispronouncing it, I apologize. I interact with her a lot on Instagram, and she just put out her 4th Flosstube episode. So definitely go check her out. Sarah from Sarah's Stitchy Spot was talking about how she finished an antique needleworker piece, and I finished that little sampler. So she congratulated me for that, which was nice. And she did the little freebie one. Yeah, she did the freebie one, and it's super cute. And she turned it into a pillow. And also I was thinking about her recently. I was thinking about her and Chester when I was working on my piece for Lucy, which I'll talk about later. And then Beck Spin recommended our freebie video channel, or freebie videos, and I will talk about her more later. Vanessa from Unseemly Stitches recommended us, and Renewing Stitches recommended our channel, or said she'd been watching us, and her channel has lots of flip throughs of old like Leisure Arts magazines and stuff. So if you like, when I go through like vintage haul, please subscribe to her channel because it is a treasure chest. Okay, so that was a lot, but like I said, we had a lot of things happen recently, so that's a lot more than normal. Oh, and the Carolina Stitchers, but I will mention them in a minute. All right, so Jen from so next I want to congratulate people who are celebrating achievements in the Flosstube and Instagram cross stitch worlds. I don't get a lot of information of other people, but if you have a friend who had a big finish or a birthday or something you want them to have a shout out on the channel, just DM them and I will add them to our upcoming floss tubes. So first I want to congratulate Jen from Jen's Fiber Web. First of all, she just wrapped up her October startathon, which was super fun. And she also hit 2,000 subscribers. So it seems like other people also thought that startathon was super fun as well. And then Sally from Flossy Sews and Grows just hit 2,000 subscribers. Yay. And she was talking in her channel about how she lives very close to Wrexham. So if you like Welcome to Wrexham, you should definitely check her out. But also like her stitching is just great and stuff. And she started something on a gorgeous purple fabric that Alex from JedXStitch dyed. And I'm like, I was like literally like, where can I find this fabric? And then of course it's like hand dyed. So we're 12 minutes in, maybe, and that was the second child interruption. So we'll see. I don't remember where I was, but Tasha from Riches Get Stitches hit 1,000 subscribers. Congratulations. I'm just so bummed. I found out she's not going to be. She was at Weekend A of StitchCon last year, but she's not going to be next year. She's going to the other weekend. So I'm bummed I won't get to see her, but I hope I get to meet her one day. And then Becca from Sam Bree Stitches, who's the Flosstube but she's also the cross stitch designer. She hit 5 years on Flosstube. Congratulations. And Erica from Fibers and Floss Canada hit 1 year on Flosstube and just started one of the patterns that definitely was on our most expensive cross stitch list. That is a Nora Corbett. So go check out her channel if you are curious. And then let's run through some birthdays real quick. Amy from Thread Gremlins had a birthday. Happy birthday. And Annie from XO Needle in the Hay XO had a birthday. And I will show the start that I had for her birthday Sal in a bit. Renee from the Golden Familiars had a birthday and she had a birthday sale. And I'm very jealous of anyone that picked up something from her birthday sale because her Stitch and Go cases are phenomenal. Maria the Green Stitcher, her birthday is coming up and she is having a sal that is Stitch Green or Al Forest or anything that's like a forest. It's like a very broad, very inclusive theme that's really fun. So one of my whips does qualify for her birthday sal. Amity from the Hathaway Stitchers had a birthday, I think. So in their last video, they said they both had birthdays recently. And I checked that we did wish Erin a happy birthday. So I think Amity just had one in the last couple weeks, but if I missed it sometime in the last 2 months, well, we're catching it now. Then Sarah from Sarah's Stitchery had a birthday, and Jen, the Caffeinated Crafter, had a birthday and just put out a video of her birthday haul that I have not gotten a chance to watch, but her and her mom made a special L&S trip and apparently bought like the whole store, so I'm excited to watch that. If you like haul videos, I would go check that out. And then Rebecca from Beck Spin had a birthday and did, I want to say 55 starts for her 55th birthday. So if you really like startathons, go check that out. And then Jasmine from Knitting Nurse Jasmine had a birthday as well. So happy birthday to all of those wonderful Flosstube channels. It's a great time to go check them out. When people celebrate milestones or birthdays, a lot of times they'll reintroduce themselves or have like little fun giveaways or birthday sales. So it's always a great time to find someone new. All right, let's dive into stitching. Okay, so Stephanie, did you have any fully finished objects this week? Oh, I did. Okay, so this is Hemlock by Lindsay Swearingen. Lindsay Swearingen is Tuscan Cardinal on Instagram and on Etsy, but her books that she publishes through Page Street Publishing are under her name, Lindsay Swearingen. And this is from Magical Cross Stitch. This was the one, we had like kind of an unofficial sal, like I didn't turn it into the calendar, just September 30th. Some of us, we told you guys we were gonna do it. Allison didn't start hers yet, but never fear, we have the book. So I started Hemlock. Jen from Jen's Fiber Web started it on the same day as me and is doing hers on green, which is really cool. This is 28 count macchiato by Bestitch Me. And I got the inspiration from Allison reminding me that when Elizabeth Savory did this for another piece, I really liked it. So the inspiration was from Elizabeth Savory of Savory Sewing via Allison reminding me about it. And I think it looks so good. Like, before I hang it on the wall, and I'm going to pop it out, re-iron it, and repin it. So I finished it like 12:15 a.m. on Halloween, and I was just like, okay, well, I want this up on Halloween, but it's not a typical size. Like I needed a frame. I thought it was a 5x7 when I was like stitching it. For some reason, like I remembered that, but I don't remember where that idea originated. And it is not a 5x7, but I didn't have enough fabric and it would have looked silly in an 8x10. So I needed something that was 6x7.5 to like 7x8.5. Because like up to an inch of fabric could have shown. So my son had a Halloween parade at school on Halloween. And as soon as I finished it, even though it was like 12:15, I came in and I looked at every frame that I own that I could have possibly popped this into, and none of them were going to work. And so because he had a Halloween parade at school, I was in the area of the Goodwill that I like that has the best frame storage, which in our thrifting, Go Cross Stitch thrifting video with me, I showed you guys, like, there's one Goodwill that just has like, their frame storage is just better than everyone else's, or displays or whatever. So, and that one's by like close-ish to my son's school. And so, I popped in and I was looking, but I knew this frames weren't going to work. So what I was really looking in were like, I had my tape measure, but my daughter was also screaming. Like the entire time we were in Goodwill, my daughter was screaming until I let her out of the cart, which is a different situation. But when I was looking for frames, she was in the cart just screaming. And so I was having a hard time stopping and measuring. So I picked up like a 5x7 frame and I was just walking around the store, picking up frames that I knew were smaller than 8x10 and picking up the 5x7 and just comparing them. And then this one was like just big enough that I thought, okay, this will probably work. But I didn't like measure it exactly, but it was $4 and it was like a word art piece. So I took that out and, I mean, the piece fits exactly like I do. When I recenter it, this needs to come over like one stitch because that's how close it is, that like this is right on the edge and this is like one stitch over. So I do want to pop it out, but I was so happy to have it like up on Halloween, or like out, not up, because this is going to go on my border wall, which is going to be right over there, but I haven't started it yet. I have 2 or 3 pieces. I have 3 pieces for it framed. And I think when I get 5, I will put them all up because it's hard to start a gallery wall until you have like enough pieces to really, maybe I'll go ahead and do it with 3. I don't know. But anyway, I'm very happy to have this done. I love it. I'm going to like fiddle with it a little bit before it goes up, but I think it looks really good. This is a cheapo frame. Like you can see that it's like a cheapy. So it's not like it's an expensive frame, but the color I think is really good for bringing out the browns in the piece. And when I posted on Instagram, this color brown was ghosting a lot more in the picture, but in real life, it's subtle, but it's not like, it's tone on tone, but it's not like you can't see it. And I think in the video, you can see it pretty well too. So I just love it. And I love it so much that I decided, so we were gifted this copy of Magical Cross Stitch. We did the flip through. That was kind of, the flip through was not required. I think there was literally no like, this is what you have to do to get this copy. But obviously if we liked the book, we were going to show it. And the flip through was fun. But we were definitely not required to stitch from it or finish it. But I like it so much that I think I'm going to do, I tentatively put this book on my plans for 2025 twice. But without like knowing which pieces, I think I want to be able to just pick it up and pick whichever one I'm feeling at the time. For 2 starts next year, because also I thought this piece, I estimated this piece at about 2,100 stitches. By the time I was done, it was really only like 1,750. It's really small, even though it feels like a nice size piece. I mean, doing it on 28 count also makes it bigger, but a lot of these pieces are just not that big. So instead of doing like one bigger Halloween for something else, it'd be fun to do 2. And there are just so many that I like. And I'm afraid if I don't put it on my plans, like I love that. Like I'm afraid if I don't put it in my plans, like for next year, that I just will forget that it's here. But I also don't want to be like, okay, well I have to do this particular one, because then what if next year I'm feeling something totally different? So, but like that one, but there's at least 5 more that I want to stitch out of here and I don't want to forget about it. So since the last time you guys saw this piece, I did almost 900 stitches, and this is, well, you'll see this at the state fair next year for sure because it's framed. All right, moving on to finishes, not like unframed finishes. So on November 1st, I was supposed to finish this in October, but I didn't finish it until the morning of November finished. But I did finish the Snowflake Stocking by Imaginating Creations. This was from Just Cross Stitch magazine. And how cute is that? This is 28 count baked clay by Fox and Rabbit, just like a little scrap piece that I had around. And the called for is 2 colors, like a light blue and a light purple, but I think they're very close, but they're very pretty together. I just did it in Frosted Sage because by Classic Colorworks, because I had an extra skein of it, and I think it looks so good. And so today, now that I've shown it on my channel, it starts the clock. My personal rule that I'm trying is by 2 floss tubes. It needs to be done or at the framers, but this is getting turned into a stocking. So it needs to be a stocking and 2 floss tubes, which is also like perfect timing to put it up for Christmas this year as like a little decoration or ornament. I might do it by hand and not pull out the sewing machine. I haven't decided, but I need to get a coordinating fabric for it that's like a bluey, wintry fabric, because none of the Christmas fabric, I don't have a ton of Christmas fabric. I only have like 1 jelly roll of something that I'm saving for a project, and I don't do a ton of sewing, so I don't have anything that would really look good with this. That isn't, I would say the only things I have in this palette are very summery, and I don't want it to be summery. I want it to be like, oh, sorry, I tipped you guys. I want it to be frosty. So I need to deal with that. The way I'm holding it makes it look very big when I'm holding it like this, but it's not. It's only 700 stitches. It's like slightly less than 700 stitches total. And since you guys saw it last, I did 273 stitches to finish it. And I decided to just like travel all over it towards the end because I just wanted it to be done. And I figured by the time I put by the time I put some like fusible iron on whatever interfacing on it to protect the stitches, and like it's gonna be that and then a layer of fabric, the lining, and then the back stocking will have 2 layers. So I figured you're not gonna see that when it's got like 5 layers when it's got 4 layers behind it. Otherwise it was not gonna get done if I had to stop and start or do pin stitches for all of that confetti. But it's so cute. And it's in the Just Cross Stitch Christmas issue, so like it's in the current issue. But if you don't have access to that, I bet Marissa will put it out on her Etsy at some point. She's Imaginating Creations on Etsy as well. But I get Just Cross Stitch through my Libby app, so this was free to me. But I also know like that you can get that issue for sale now. So if you like it, there's a bunch of other cute stuff in that issue that I don't have any plans to do this year, but that I really like. There's a Maria from Quaker Creations that's really pretty. There's a Witch's Garden Crafts that's really pretty. So I need to keep that in mind for when I'm making my 2026 plans, because my 2025 plans are pretty full. And I'm going to record a plans video fairly soon once Allison's plans are stitch when I want to stitch and when I want to stitch it. But I still kind of want to tell her my plans and see her reaction. But we'll see when we can get that out. I want to get it out in November. All right, let's move. Oh, it is getting really gloomy. It looks like end of day is outside, guys. I think the light in here is still fine in the video, but we'll see. Okay. Next, we're on to new starts. So in our Mirabilia Wip Parade, I talked about my Nora November plans, and the first, I have 2 starts planned. On November 1st, I was going to start Christmas Elegance with Rosanna from Bright and Dusty, and I did. She's doing hers on purple. I'm doing mine on a blue that is much more close to the called for, but I think it's still like a little bit darker than the called for. And we're going to talk about the margin of this piece in a minute. But I did 900 stitches. My goal for this piece for this month is to do 2,000, but my goals are kind of stitch heavy, and I don't know if I'll get to all of my goals this month, so I'm going to get it to 1,000 and then rotate to the next thing and then come back to it later in the month, because I also am going to stitch on this a lot in December. So, so far I only have 2 shades of green in it. I started in the bottom corner and did this really dark green all the way to the middle so that I could cut the fabric. Because there was like a good chunk of fabric that at the top that I wasn't going to need. But I wanted to wait until I got to at least the middle before I did that. And then once I had done as much of this 500 as I could, this chart has 5 skeins of 500 in it. So I figured getting some of that 500 out of the way wasn't a bad idea. After that, I came in and I did, I think this is 561 or the next like color. And I'm not having any trouble stitching on this color blue. I thought it would be kind of hard at night. I haven't had any trouble at all. Now I do have a lamp that's like right over me, but it's not like a specialty cross stitch lamp. It's just a normal lamp. And this was still pretty fun and easy. I am using GoodNotes for marking it off. So I do have to count the stitches manually, which is annoying, but a lot of my mirrors I do that for, because I can get scans that are good enough, but the resolution and markup is not as good as the resolution in GoodNotes. So by the time you get to it, it doesn't recognize them as individual squares sometimes. Now let's talk about fabric margins. So our tutorial last week was how big should you cut your fabric, and like, or how big should your margins be, right? And I decided to do 2.5 inches, because if I did 2.5 inches at the bottom, I was going to have a nice like cut, like it'd be long and skinny, but you know, that's not bad to have around. That was going to be like 3 inches. So like a long skinny, but like 3 inches wide cut, I could still do something with it as opposed to like literally just wasting it. I wish I had not done that. I wish I had done 3-inch margins, because even though I'm down here, I think my margin looks fine. This fabric is not cut on the thread and it's like the cut is very diagonal to the point where I am losing margin. So if you can see this, my margin down here, well, it might be easier. Okay. So my margin here, it looks kind of normal. By the time you get up here, it is significantly shorter. Let me see if I can show you. I feel like I'm sitting straight in the dark, but it looks okay on camera, so I'm hoping. Okay, so that is how much margin I have lost by the middle of the piece. And so by the time I get up to the top of the piece, I will have lost 1 inch. I think it will be okay. The bottom is full coverage and the top is beads, but because the bottom is full coverage, I think it's a piece I actually probably would have wanted to frame myself anyway, because framing full coverage is not super difficult. Now, saying that, it may not fit in a standard frame size, but that would not be a super, if I had to order a custom frame where they give you the, like, there's places where you can order online like custom frame size, and then they send you the board and all that stuff, then I could still at least like pin it or lace it myself. Because I think, based on where it is, I think by the time we get to the top, I'll be down to this. But I don't want any extra fabric showing at the bottom or on the sides. So even though the top will look like it has a lot of fabric because of the way the pattern is, I think I'll be okay framing it right up to the edge, but I'm like very annoyed. This piece of fabric is from 123 Stitch. I've never seen this happen before. I've heard it happen before, but I've never seen it, and I'm really, really annoyed about it, because I mean, I'm not starting it over again. You know, I've done almost 1,000 stitches. I'm not starting over again. And I only realized it when I took it out of the hoop today to iron it for you guys. Because in the hoop, it doesn't look off because this is straight, right? And you can't really, like, it's, anyway, so it is, okay, I've complained about it enough, but I'm very annoyed, and I'm like, very annoyed that I'm not even learning the lessons from my own videos sometimes, but that's okay. All right, I'm stitching it with this, I think this is a 7-inch Duchess hoop that I got on Facebook Marketplace a few months ago for a good deal. I got, I showed you guys when I got it. And then it lives in this pretty southern bag, and I have obviously not organized my threads, which is part of why I just was doing one color until I couldn't do it anymore and then get the next color, because I wasn't like gonna dig through and get color changes. I just I didn't sort my floss for this or my other Nora November start until the 1st. I just wasn't going to sit there and get it all in drops and stuff. So right now it's just a jumble of floss. Okay, so that was my start number 1. Start number 2, okay, so on our Ask Us Anything video that we did, which was super fun to do, we got, I mean, it was, a lot of the questions were about Flosstube and cross stitch, but a lot of the questions weren't, and so we got to like just kind of talk about, you know, whatever you guys wanted. And we didn't get through all the questions, and we said we would keep drawing questions on Flosstube, but obviously we're not going to do that today, and I don't have the questions here anyway. But anyway, on that, at the last 11 minutes of that video is me talking about how I had my dog passed away, and I'm not going to go into, like, if you want to know this, if you didn't watch the video and you want to know the story, it's the last 11 minutes of the Ask Us Anything. I do cry. So I'm just not going to go into it, but I did start a piece for her the same day because I already had talked to you guys about possibly starting it in the summer and then hadn't been able to. So I started Within a Dream by the Artsy Housewife. You can see the pattern here. I picked this piece, well, one, because I was already planning on stitching it, so I already had like picked out fabric for it and stuff, and it's really beautiful, and I know when it's up I will appreciate it being up in my home. And I liked the idea of doing a rainbow bridge piece. When I talked about the people that influenced me to do a rainbow bridge piece, I forgot to mention Sarah's Stitchy Spot and the sampler that she picked for her. I don't know if she started it before her dog passed away, but she redid the dog in the, I think it was Moonlight Sampler by the Blue Flower, if I'm not mistaken. But she definitely was stitching it afterwards, and it was helping her with her grief. If you can hear the thunder. Do I look like I'm just sitting in a dark room now? That's what I feel like, but that's okay. I just forgot to mention her because I mentioned a few other people that inspired me to do it. So I wanted to do a piece for Lucy to like work through my grief and give me dedicated time to think about her every day, especially when like as the days go on and it's not like so present. And the themes of so when I talked about this piece at first, I thought it was from Hamlet, but it's actually Edgar Allan Poe. And Dream Within a Dream is one of his poems, and I had already read it, and it's, you know, the themes of like death are like present, but also like the imagery of like the sand falling out of your hand felt very familiar to like what it was like to live with a dog that had dementia, and like every day was just a little bit less. So I started this piece, and what I'm doing is I'm doing 2 strands a day on it, and not gonna try to like do it faster than that. First of all, it's almost 20,000 stitches, and I don't want to think of it as like work or a project. I just want to think of it as time that I have to like reflect. So 2 strands a day is like a good amount of time. And this is what I have so far. So this is, I'm using the called for threads, except there's 2 weeks dye works, and I talked in the Ask Us Anything video about how a lot of times I feel like I just got grainy. A lot of times I will sub out like weeks for Original Arts because I'd prefer to have more Original Arts in my collection. I don't like stitching with weeks exactly. So, the Thread Gremlins talked a lot about the issues they have with the green from weeks, just like, anyway, so go watch their latest video if you want to hear some tales of woe. But anyway, so basically if I kit it up with weeks, when I started stitching, I'll use it, but I'm not buying anymore. So, but if you want to know what those subs are, it's not a big deal. So I'm doing it kind of like the Stitchy Mommy typewriter method, because I don't want to, during my stitching time, to think about this. I don't want to be thinking about my stitch path or what colors. So I'm just going, because I started in the bottom left, I'm just going whatever the most bottom left color is that needs to go, that's what I'm doing next. And that's why sometimes I'm kind of continuing to go. But I realized this morning that this in the middle is currant, and they sent me red grape. 123 Stitch sent me red grape instead. So I emailed them this morning asking if they can fix that. So I will just continue past it until I get that, and then I'll come back. But it's, you know, it's really beautiful. Thank you guys for all of the kind words on our last video about sharing your stories of loss, especially like older pets. I posted this on Instagram, and you guys were really kind there as well. So you guys are going to see this, but I don't want to like always be trauma dumping on like about it. So, you know, I'll probably just say like, this is the piece I'm stitching as my memorial to my dog Lucy, but I don't want to always be like, but again, it's been 9 days, so I'm pretty devastated still, but like, we'll, you know, we'll get there. And I did 721 stitches, and I think it's really beautiful. And I talked in the Ask Us Anything about how like there are rainbow bridge pieces that designers put out that are really pretty. There are some from Silver Creek Samplers, but I just wanted something that when I was done, I could put it up in my home without thinking about, I just don't want anyone to come over and be like, well, what is that? And have to explain it. I just want it to be like cool, creepy, gloomy art. And then, I'll know, and you guys will know, but like, it doesn't need to be something I talk about all the time. Now, when I kitted this up, I'm stitching it with this 6-inch Duchess hoop. And when I kitted it up, I didn't realize that the gray that so you need 4 cast iron skillets if you're doing it on 28 count. I don't know if I mentioned it. That's Presentation by Tropical Stitches and 28 count. So you need 4 cast iron skillets because there's a lot of black. But I didn't realize I needed 2 grays, so I only bought 1. I'll have to get a second skein because I swapped the Weeks gray for Jill Art's Barn gray. So I'll need to get a second skein of that. And then I ordered currant. And whenever I order from 123 Stitch, I kind of just count that it's the right number of flosses because I've never been given the wrong one before that I know of. Now I'll know, like, okay, I really gotta check it. Which would be really annoying if you're using them to kit up like 100 DMC or something, but I've also bought the wrong DMC. So they sent me red grape, which is very pretty, but it's purpley, and the currant, very similar, but it leans more red. However, if they were to be like, well, we can't fix it or something, I didn't notice, it didn't like stick out as like not part of this palette because it does look like it would go really well in this palette. So I'm not going to place an order from 123 Stitch for 1 skein. Can you guys hear the thunder and the rain? It's very beautiful, but it's, this is interesting to film during. Anyway, I think the colors are really beautiful, and doing 2 strands a day really lets me appreciate how beautiful they are too. And then, so when I kitted it up in this, Kathy's Posies Halloween bag, but that was when I thought it was more of like a fun Edgar Allan Poe piece, and now that it means something different, I need to find somewhere else for it to live. But my office is a mess, and one of my goals this month is to get it organized so I can film a tour of it when it's organized, because if I don't have that, guys, the heavens have opened up. Okay, so I'm not crying about Lucy, but my porch is. Okay, so I do need to get a different bag because I don't think this is super appropriate anymore. And I have some other, I'm probably going to do like a full reorg. Maybe when I get ready for our Wip Parade in December, I will just move some things around. If I don't find anything between now and then, that'll work. I know I don't have any empty ones that will work, but you know, I love this bag, and I don't want it to be associated with this project, and I don't want this project to feel too macabre. All right, guys, let's keep going. Okay, so my third start was for Annie XO Needle in the Hay XO, her birthday style. She had a birthday style where you could stitch anything by JedXStitch. And she started the scorpion and the frog, which I don't believe in astrology, and yet everything about astrology seems to come back to be true. So I just hold those truths separately. Like, one, I'm a woman of science and I don't believe in it. And two, like when someone says I'm a quintessential Scorpio, I'm like, okay, well, I'm a quintessential Cancer, Sun, Pisces, Moon. Oh my God, there's like lightning. Okay, well, we gotta keep going. The noise outside is better than if it was coming from there. Anyway, so I kind of wanted to honor Annie by doing the frog and the scorpion, but I don't have any fabric that is the right color, and the fabric that is the color for that is gorgeous. So if I do it some other time, I want it to be on the right, like that color, like either the called for fabric or like something very similar, because it's on this beautiful, like, I think it's called Spicy Mustard. And then JedXStitch released the cherry and the magpie, or cherry magpie sampler or something like that. And it's beautiful. But again, I didn't have anything in my stash that would like look good. And like, because of the way that JedXStitch, you can just tell she's such a color-minded person, and her fabric choices are so good. And also that sampler had like a Threadworks and something else called for, and I was like, and a Color and Cotton. I was like, okay, well, I just don't want to get a Threadworks and a Color and Cotton and order fabric. I want something I can just start. But she also had this super cute little water lily dragon, which I will show here. I talked about in our Ask Us Anything that I UFO'd my Year of the Dragon style start. So I figured this would be good because I will have it finished by the end of the year. So it will count as my Year of the Dragon style because it will get finished way before Lunar New Year. And I also, I want to give this to my daughter because I can totally see, her birthday's in December. And it's only like 20 something hundred. It's less than 3,000 stitches. So my goal is to finish it in December for her birthday and put it up in her room. And I know she'll like it because it's such a cute little animal. So here's my start. Now I did 224 stitches. I think over here I made a mistake and I'm not sure if I need to frog it or not. So, and also my stitches over here were starting to look pretty sloppy. I might just frog them all because I don't love the way they look. I mean, this fabric is like, I had a hard time stitching on this, this is 28 count gray magic by Stitch Me. It's gorgeous. I had a hard time stitching on it, like dark wise, than that dark blue for Christmas Elegance. And I don't know why, because they're both 28 count linen. And this isn't as dark as that, but this felt darker. And then I definitely, when I got into this like darker patch, I was just having a hard time. So I think you can even kind of see where my stitches go off the rails a little bit over here. So I might frog them and redo them, but I'm not going to decide yet. And that is living in this upcycled cosmetic bag. Not upcycled with any like thing, but just like, I just thought the color palette went really well on it. I'm out of project bag, so I was like, let's use this. And I'm stitching it with this little tiny princess hoop. Obviously I picked this one because it's a small design, and then also I needed something. I could put a little bit bigger hoop in here, but I wanted something that I knew would fit in here comfortably. And I had most of the called for DMC. So the pattern's a freebie on her Ko-Fi. I had most of the called for DMC. I think I'm missing a couple of the purples, which is fine because you have to do the whole like blue green dragon before you get to the purples anyway. So I have time to get them. All right. So that was my 3 starts, and happy birthday, Annie. And if you do the same theme in the future, I will probably do the scorpion because like, it's so cool. All right, whips. All right. Stephanie, what did you work on this week? Well, Allison, here are my whips. Okay, so Nora November is well underway, and my goal is to get all the stitches finished on Touching the Autumn Sky by Mirabilia. And she only has 7,800 stitches left, so I think I will be able to do it. Since you guys saw it last, I did the whole scarf and did more on the skirt. Since you guys saw her last, I've done 1,300 stitches. So to get her done in November, I definitely need to do bigger chunks of it between videos. So you guys hopefully will see like a lot of progress. And I think I'm getting close on the conversion for the hair. And look how great that, oh, this scarf looks so great. It's like you're stitching it, you're like, this is nutso. And then it's like, then something like an object is completed and all of a sudden you're like, oh, I get it. I get it. Oh, it's so good. So I do have the beads for her and everything. So she doesn't have that many beads, and the beads are included in that number. So the actual number of stitches that I have left in her, I believe, because I went through and I cleaned up the pattern, to delete all the things that aren't stitches. So I believe I have 7,851 stitches left, and that includes the beads. And there are some backstitch, but not a ton of backstitch. So I don't think I'll have like days of backstitch. But if I get all the X's done for her in November, then I know she'll be a 2024 finish. And then I'll be able to return the pattern to the sweet stitchy friend that lent it to me. And because I don't want to hold it if I don't have to. And I'm doing this on 28 count Vintage Whisper by Zweigart. All right, it lives in this Kathy's Posies bag, and I'm stitching it with a 9 by 4.5 spring top vintage hoop. All right, next whip. Oh, I don't want to turn the overhead light on in here because it's so yellow. Like it will make it, it's like the worst light. So we are just going to go with the window light. I don't think the stitches look bad in, but this is crazy. Okay. Child break. Okay. Next one. This is Away We Ride by Blackbird Designs. I stitched 500 stitches since the last time you guys saw it. So in October, it got 1,000 stitches, maybe a slightly over. It's beautiful. This is 28 count Boneyard by Miss Stitch Me. And I love it on this fabric. And I will have a nice piece of it left, but I'm waiting until I get to the bottom of the border before I cut it. And, you know, this year I just finished, and it's going away. So it'll come out next October, maybe a little earlier, but I just love it so much. And I had so much fun on it, and I also don't want to rush it. Like, all right, it lives in this bag by Carrie Sews For You with this cute little fall leaf detail. By next October, though, if I do like a full bag shuffle, I don't know where it's going to end up. And I am stitching it with the call for, which obviously most of them did not make an appearance this year, with this like 6-inch spring top hoop. And I had to swap Garden Gate for Tin Bucket because they didn't have Garden Gate when I got my floss. And I really like the Tin Bucket on this more gray fabric because Tin Bucket is more of a gray and Garden Gate is more of a gray brown. They're both kind of, Garden Gate's like, to me, the skin of Garden Gate I have looks kind of grayish. All right, the next one is, okay, so you guys have never seen this whip before. So I did 400 stitches on it, 408 stitches. But when I started it on October 1st, I forgot to bring it over for our floss tube. And I never took a picture of it for Instagram like I thought I would because where I was at it in it wasn't super exciting. So this is October Tree by, or October Quaker Tree by Hello from Liz Mathews. I'm stitching this on 28 count hibiscus by Fiber on a Whim. And I made a huge mistake. So first of all, Samantha from Kansas City, Stitcher Samantha, started it with me, and she's doing hers in a purple, like with purple floss. It's really pretty. And I like the floss. I love the combo. I already stitched the small from this in the same combo. Okay, when I kitted this up last year, did not think about the fact that, okay, so Miss Stitch Me floss is, I'm doing this with the Miss Stitch Me silk called Black Walnut. It's 10 yards. 10 yards is still not enough to do both pieces on one skein. So I am definitely gonna run out of floss. And what I think I'm gonna do, which is why I'm stitching what I'm stitching. So what I think I'm gonna do is there's 4 big Quaker designs So I think I'm gonna stitch those 4 Quakers in this floss and then pick a coordinating color to do the rest of the design in. But I do want to, everything in the middle I might do, or I could even pull out what I've done in the middle if it makes more sense to do it in the coordinating. But I think this will get me through the 4 big Quaker motifs because I'm done with 1 and I have, you know, 2 partials. And then pick something else, maybe like darker even, to do all of the other, like the acorns and all the other stuff. And that way, because I could order another skein of black walnut, but even if it was, because of dye lots, this is a year old, my guess is by the time I got it, it would be a different dye lot. And I would still probably want to make it so that where I was using each one was more distinct. So then if I'm having to do that, I might as well just pick a different brown from my stash. And I have a lot of Stitch Me browns that would even probably would go with it. And then I have a lot of other browns. So I want to keep doing it in silk, but I have a lot of brown silk. So that lives in this sweet pumpkin pie bag. But probably not for long because I have something else that needs to move into this because this is my only good Thanksgiving bag. And haul, I'll talk about that. So you might see this again this year with a different project in it. But this bag maker doesn't make bags anymore, which is sad because their bags were great. And I only got 2 of them, but I love them. All right. So the next one I did was, a small gift. This is a stitch along with Colette the Highway Stitcher and Denise from Black Ribbon Stitch Studio. And you can see what the pattern looks like. It's called for on 14 count black Aida. I'm doing it on navy Aida because that is easier on my eyes. And I was not supposed to pull this out again this month, but it did get 350 more stitches because I went to a birthday party for one of my son's classmates, and it was actually held in a place that we'd been before, and I knew that I could I would be okay if I just sat and stitched while he ran around and had fun. He was like, I was kind of blowing, I was too cool. He was too cool for me to just be like following him around the way that we used to and making sure that, like, you know, everything's okay. So you can see before I had been doing it all the way across. So what I added was everything that's on this side that doesn't have a match over here. And my white stitches are looking okay. They're not looking fabulous, but they're looking okay. And I think when you take a step back and they're fine, you know? And this piece has goals for, it's not gonna be a finish this year, but it does have goals for December. So you will see it again, probably not next Flosstube, but you will definitely see it again this year. And I love it. It's by Imaginating. It's Mary Engelbreit art, and the pattern is by Imaginating. This is available on 123 Stitch as a paper pattern, which is what I got, but they also, Imaginating sells it as a download. I like having the paper pattern, but you know, I download. Sometimes it's nice to just put something right into markup because I'm literally I was working off the paper and now I'm working off of photos, but I haven't had a day where I've like really scanned stuff lately for markup, so I don't even know if it would go into markup if I scan it because I'm just doing the white. I haven't bothered to scan it yet. I'm stitching it with this 4.5 by 9 inch Duchess oval, and then this is the project where from that thrift with me video, those like gift tags, I want to put the floss on these for floss straps, but I haven't done it yet. So right now they're just like a jumble, but I'm also just probably not even going to be out of the white this year, so it's fine. And it lives in this project bag that I won from Kaylee Tent Stitch from the sewing shop. And I think it's perfect for this, like these little woodland creatures. And I had a lot of 14 count navy Aida left from this, but then I had another project that I need to start on it, and this piece wasn't going to be big enough for that. But so I will have even more left over in a little bit when I show you guys, when I talk to you guys in plans about that project. Okay. And then, okay. This piece only got 150 stitches because I really had already done too many on her this month for my goal. So the goal, my original goal for her was 1,000, and she got like almost 1,500 stitches. So in the last, since our last floss tube, she got 150. This is Whimsy Witch's Angry House by Teresa Kogut. And I'm using the Novel Stitchers Argyle Socks purple conversion. And which is why her hair has bits of purple in it. And I was stitching her during Agatha all along, which is over. And I'm very sad about it. I loved that show so much. I love that show so much that my daughter knows all of the lyrics to The Witch's Road. So, and we'll dance to it. So, this is on 28 Count Platinum by Zweigart, which is the call for fabric, but not the call for count. And Lisa from Black Coffee and Grits finished her this year. And she's just so cute. She's all out. I'll be super excited to get her out next year. I don't know if she'll be a finish next year. Between that, I have a lot of... One thing that I liked about this spooky season is I whipped up. And instead of trying to finish some of the things from last year, I restarted some things that needed to be restarted, and I started a lot of things. So I have a lot more Halloween projects to finish. And then Hemlock wasn't really a Halloween specific piece, but you know, I started it during spooky season from a spooky book, and I'm stitching this with a 12 by 6 inch princess hoop. And using all the call for DMC, the only swap I made is the Weeks Dye Works gray. I swapped it for Argyle Socks. And it lives in, now my newly fixed, little girl trick-or-treating spidery pet skull bag from Jasmine's Custom Bags, which I love. So yeah, next year I'll have a bunch of projects to pick from for Halloween. So I don't know if I'm going to decide to concentrate most on Away We Ride or on her, but or if I'll want to work on everything a little bit or pick one of my older ones. We'll see. All right, and this is my last one. This is Swan Lake Mandala by Chatelaine. Oh, the quality of the video is definitely going out as it gets darker. It's only 3 o'clock. This is like end of days darkness. All right, well, let's try it. I just had to turn the overhead lighting on. I don't know, like we're almost done showing projects, so it won't be as big of a deal if the projects don't look as good. But it it is so dark and raining outside now that, anyway, I know I'll just have to get a new ring light because this is not gonna work. Okay, so this is Swan Lake Mandala by Chatelaine. And I only have a net gain of 38 stitches because the week before I stitched her on Wednesdays, and the Wednesday, so before Lucy passed, I just wasn't stitching. I was stitching, but I was not like doing heavy duty stitching. And so then last Wednesday was the day before Halloween, and I had some other stuff I wanted to do. So I was getting her out to do my 200 stitches, and I made a mistake, and I had to frog it, and I had to frog some like 3/4 stitches and stuff, and that made me very angry, and I put it away. So she will come back out, and part of the reason that I'm forcing myself to do like steady progress on her is because I don't want to get intimidated or annoyed and not pick her back up. So she will come back up on Wednesday. But yeah, I really wanted to be done with this whole thing like 4 weeks ago, but we'll get there. And I really love it other than that mistake. And it lives in my Jasmine's Custom Bag Dragon bag that I love. All right. I'm stitching her with Rachel from Licking Floss, who's further than me and has specialty stitches and just posted like a really beautiful update if you're wanting to see progress. And someone else on Instagram is working on her and posting regular progress. So if I can remember next time, I will mention who that is. All right, so that is what I worked on over the last 2 weeks. Yay! Okay, plans. So I'm going to keep up with Nora November. I'm going to do another 100 stitches in Christmas Elegance today and then move on. I think I need to put some work in Touching the Autumn Sky before I move on to like my next whip. And then during the whip parade, I showed you guys the 10 whips that I already have. And I'll talk in Stitchy Kindness about other Nora November plans. But so I need to do a lot in Touching the Autumn Sky in the next 2 weeks if I want to hit getting all of the 7,800 X's in by the end of the month. And I need to put some work into Moonglow because I want to finish her by the end of the month. And then start getting out some of my other projects for their turn. And my goal for all my current whips is to do 1,000 stitches in them. I might have to hit like 500 or 700 and then rotate and see which ones I get back to. I may not be able to do what I like to do, which is just work on it until it hits 1,000 before moving on, but we'll see. And then, okay, so for Nora November, I am going to start Seaside Kingdom in the next 2 weeks. That is the chart that I showed you that Donna from Stitch X Love gave me, and another Stitchy friend that I told some deep family secrets to sent me the fabric for it, and I will show you guys, and the bead pack for it. So I'm very excited to be starting it in the next 2 weeks. I'm not sure exactly what day, but I will be starting it. And then I have to start something not Nora related. So my son's birthday is in January. When I was starting the dragon for my daughter, I said, don't you think Molly will love this dragon? And he said, I want a solar system. And I said, you know, like I started this piece for him on January of a scuba diver because he loved in the past tense sharks in the ocean, but he has since moved on to being all about space. And so spending 6,000 stitches on that in January and December to get it done for his birthday, that's not the right present for him anymore. He needs a solar system. And so I started looking around, and there are a few out there, but they're really big. And so I charted one myself that is 3,500 stitches. So I know I can get it done by his birthday. And I got some navy Aida to do it on because I wasn't going to do it on black. And I charted it so that it will fit in an 8x10 frame. So I won't need to add 2 weeks for framing for his birthday. If I'm stitching it the day before his birthday, as long as it's done, I can put it in a frame. And then I can always sneak it out of his room and like reposition it if it's a little crooked. So I charted it myself based on artwork that I found online. So I'm never going to sell it. And I believe the picture is like wiki free commons, whatever, but I'm never going to sell it. So I wasn't super worried about it. It's just like, I just need a solar system. And I pulled all the floss for it, but I don't have the yellows that I need for the sun. And I could pick other yellows, but because the picture had like a pastel-y vibe and I had all the other floss, I had like most of the floss, I was like, well, I'm gonna get, and I need 2 skeins of the yellows because the sun is obviously much bigger than the rest of it. So I'm gonna pick up the 2 skeins that I need, the 3 skeins that I need to do the sun, because the center of the sun is one color, then the rays of the sun are a different color, but tomorrow. So I am gonna start this because I was thinking that the sun is just mostly fill-in, and it would be a great fill-in project for Jingle Ball weekend. So I won't be able to spend a ton of time on it in November, but my son will be demanding that I spend time on it because anytime I pick up something that isn't it, he says it would be better if I was stitching a solar system. Like, oh, Christmas Elegance is fine, but like it's not a solar system. So I'm going to start that and set it up so that I can do fill-in for the Jingle Ball. And then also, like, if he's wanting to watch me work on it, I can work on it like here and there. And then, so those are my starts that I have planned. Oh, I forgot to mention Christmas Elegance, stitched on something stitched with green, was something I worked on also yesterday for Maria, the Green Stitcher's birthday sal. And I have Alforce I need to start, but I'm not going to start any in the middle of the holy month of Nora November because I have too many other things going on, but I have a lot of Noras that have green in them. So I'm going to keep picking up, every stitch I do on Christmas Elegance this year is going to be green. So I'm going to keep picking up that to work on for her birthday. And I'm going to pick Annie's birthday sal back up in December because I do want to finish that. All right. Those are my plans. Flosstube University, that is a section, well, on Thursdays we come out with our own lessons for Flosstube University for beginner stitchers, and then we also like to share in our Flosstube things we learned on Flosstube. And this is kind of an unusual recommendation, different from what I normally recommend on this section. So I talked in the Ask Us Anything about how much I love Jane and Julie, Running with Scissors, Jane and Julie's Flosstube channel. And so random, but Julie put up an update on that channel, and I will not steal her thunder, so I'll let you guys go check it out. But she has started a new floss tube with her daughter Catherine called Floss Paper Scissor. And I had said specifically I liked watching their floss tube for many reasons, but one of the reasons was I liked watching her talk about Hardanger without feeling like I needed to do it. It was fun to learn about it without doing it. And they are going to keep talking about Hardanger on the new channel. And her daughter's really nice. You know how much I love a mother-daughter floss tube. So, you know what? That is reminding me that I forgot to mention earlier when I was congratulating people, speaking of mother-daughter floss tubes, because my children were interrupting, that who I love dearly, that Emma Kay from the Carolina Stitchers had her baby, which we knew because they posted on Instagram that they had it, but also they came back with a new video post-baby. So if you want to hear all about it, first of all, congratulations, Emma Kay, and then go check out their most recent video. I think I pushed play within 1 minute of that video popping up. I was so excited. Okay, so go watch that video. But then also Julie and her daughter Catherine, it's Floss Paper Scissor. Julie is a cross stitcher, but she also is a Hardanger instructor and writes patterns. And my son just put a solar system up on the refrigerator to remind me that that's more important than cross stitch. I'm now looking at a solar system. So that was exciting that channel's out. I haven't had a chance to watch the whole video yet, so I don't know what percentage of it is educational versus what is their personal stitching, but I'm just so excited. And also multiple people messaged me to tell me that channel had came up because you guys really know what I like. So parades, we also started sharing when we've been watching parades. So I watched JedXStitch's first floss tube was a Wip Parade. That was super great. I haven't watched her second video yet, but it's on my list to get to this week, and her stitching's so beautiful. Now, she is one of those people who is really into the higher counts, and I'm against. In this stage of my life, I'm against. So when I look at her models, I need to remember in my house, they're going to be a lot bigger. But they are beautiful, and her fabric choices are gorgeous. And then Laura from I Stitch Birds had a kit parade for her Riolis kits. And if you love I didn't realize I've never really looked into Riolis kits other than what I've seen people show. I didn't realize how extensive the collection was and how beautiful they are. So that was really exciting. And then Hannah from Ladybug Stitches. I had never seen her channel before, and this video got recommended to me she has a Christmas ornament parade that she just put out, 99 Christmas ornaments. I only saw it today, so I only got to watch the first few, but I highly recommend it. 99 Christmas ornaments. A lot of them are freebies. She talks about a lot of them being from things that weren't even for cross stitch, but highly recommend. Go check that out, and I'm very excited to get back to it later today or tomorrow if I'm allowed to do things. May not be. All right, Stitchy Kindness. So this is Stitchy Kindness from Tara at Will the Woman Crafts. So she gave away a project bag on her channel that she was making, and I told you guys not to enter, and you guys listened to me. But I did win it. So I already have something kitted up in it, which I'll talk about in a minute, but look at that. It's like martinis and olives, and then the fabric on the inside is like olivey swirl. Oh, it's so good. So I decided to go ahead and kit up Seaside Kingdom in here, because even though Seaside Kingdom is like about children, and this is kind of a funny theme to be about children, I just was like, you know what? The pattern was Stitchy Kindness. The fabric and the beads were Stitchy Kindness. It can live inside of Stitchy Kindness too. And she also sent something for Allison that is hidden behind the floss, because I want to show Allison on camera and let Tara see her reaction to it. So I'm not going to give it to Allison until we film next, but it might be like if she's like, I'm not going to do flossing for a while, I might film it next time we film like the free Christmas videos or whatever, just so she doesn't have to wait to have her little present. But Tara, thank you so much. And I know I won it as a giveaway. Oh, look, Foz is, look at that. And I know I wanted it to give away, but I'm pretending like it was a present from a friend. Because I consider her a friend. I'm pretending like she's my friend. I don't know if she would be like, oh yeah, we're friends. But I'm pretending like she's my friend and that she made me a bag because we're friends, even though I want it. And thank you all for not entering. And again, I don't enter a lot of like Flosstube like pattern contests and stuff because we do occasionally get gifted things. And so I feel like that kind of stuff needs to be spread around. But if it is a project bag I'm entering. And some fabrics I am entering. And I don't feel bad about that at all. All right, and then haul. So I don't have a ton of haul. I do have a little bit of vintage pattern haul that I still need to show you guys, but I haven't cleaned my office enough to find where the missing pile is. Okay, so again, I'm trying not to buy things because I want to be able to buy things at StitchCon. But I had a gift card to Lindy Stitches and I was waiting to spend it until after the Jingle Ball stuff came out because I could have asked, but I didn't want to ask. I just wanted to kind of wait and find out. The Jingle Ball is on its own website. So I didn't know if gift cards from Lindy Stitches would qualify for Jingle Ball purchases. And if they did, then I was going to get a class, probably the Blue Flower one, but like a class kit. But if they didn't, then I was going to wait and decide what I'm going to do for the Jingle Ball, like closer to, like I'm definitely going, but decide if I want to do a class like in a few weeks or something. I probably am not going to do a class, mostly because I don't want to do the stitching, the pre-stitching. And I like a lot of the things that came out as projects, but I bet those patterns will be available in a year and my plate's full. But I'm going to the Jingle Ball. But if my gift card had worked, I would have probably bought a kit. But since it didn't, I was like, okay, so now it's time to spend it because there were a couple of things that I needed for this year. And this is really Annie's fault from Needle in the Hay, XO Needle in the Hay. So because she showed that Unicorn's Garden was up on Lindy Stitches and I knew I wanted to buy Unicorn's Garden because I'm going to start this on my daughter's birthdays this year for her present for next year. And it's bigger. Jen from Jen's Fiber Web stitched this. And so I asked her if she could tell me how many stitches it was because she had the digital and she said it's like 12,000 stitches. So, but I did go ahead and get the paper one from Lindy Stitches. So Annie posted this. I was like, okay, well, I'm going to go ahead and get it because I know I'm starting this. And the other reason I went ahead and pulled the trigger is that when Laura from Lolity just showed her Turkey Day finish and I bought Whimsy Witch, I went to see if this was available and 123 Stitch was out. And I really wanted to start it this Thanksgiving so that I could work on it a lot next year. But it was out. But then Lindy Stitches had a couple copies left. So I grabbed that. And then when I placed a different order on 123 Stitch, I grabbed it's like a bunch of DMC and 2 Gentle Arts, so I grabbed those 2. And Lindy Stitches doesn't sell Gentle Arts, so I grabbed these 2 when I kitted up something else. So I'm gonna start this on Thanksgiving, and that's probably what's gonna move into that pumpkin pie bag. Okay, so Lindy Stitches, the deal is I had a $50 gift card, and if you spend $60, you get free shipping. So obviously, I was gonna get to $50. Or $60. So this is a pattern that I know is on my plans for next year. The Blue Flower Huckleberry Farm. So I grabbed that too. And Lady Stitches doesn't sell Gentle Arts, but she sells Classic Colorworks. So I grabbed the only Classic Colorworks that this has is called for. I went ahead and grabbed the Black Coffee. I don't know what I'm going to do about the rest of it because I don't want to buy all these weeks. There's 1 Gentle Arts and then a bunch of weeks in DMC. So I don't know what I'm going to do about the rest of it, but I went ahead and got what I could get. And then I also decided this year that I absolutely have to start the Santa's House Fabulous House. Like I've been eyeing this. Rachel from Licking Floss, I think, is stitching this, and I've been eyeing it, and I think she's stitching it, but maybe it's somebody else. And she definitely has like a beautiful Christmas. She's got good Christmas projects, but and Liddy Stitches. It's mostly DMC, but has 2 Classic Colorworks. So I went ahead and got them, and because I know I'm going to stitch this on 28 count, I grabbed 2 skeins. I I think you need 2 skeins no matter what, but maybe not if you do it on 40. Two strands. Okay. Oh, it says if you're doing 2 over 2 on 28 count, you need 2 skeins of both of these, but it literally says it. So, that's why I did that. So I ordered all of this from Lindy Stitches and it was $60 exactly. It was like $60.20. So that was perfect. So even though it was haul, it wasn't, you know, it was a gift card. And I'm definitely starting this next year. I think I'm going to start this next June. But if you are definitely going to start this next year and you want to start it together and you're going to start it at a different time, let me know. I can move my plans around. And then I am starting this month. I am starting this in December. And I am starting this in December too. So yes, it was haul, but it was like, you know, necessary. And I had a gift card. And it came with this really cute little card for the Jingle Ball. And I was thinking if I could laminate it, I could make it like a fun floss card for some Jingle Ball project. So I'm going to save that. And then the only other thing I bought was on eBay, this Mirabilia pattern, Mother's Arms. I got an email that this was listed for like half of what it normally goes for. It was like $20. With shipping and taxes, I paid $27, and that's a lot less than it normally goes for. To the point where I was like, "Am I getting scammed?" I think it normally goes for around 40-ish, but it's legit. So I was excited. Helen the Ditty Stitcher is stitching this, but she's just stitching like the face, which is really pretty. You guys know how I'm like weirdly obsessed with like all Mirabilias that like are weird 90s looking ones, and also ones that have children in them. Yes, babe?
Molly wants Sadie.
Okay, cool. I don't know if I'll stitch the whole thing, but I really like it. So, a little Nora haul. The details in the skirt. There's like, I don't know, there's like a basket of bird eggs, and it's just so pretty. And I think this one is almost full coverage. If not, then it's probably done on blue. What is it done on? Ivory. It's done on ivory. So it's got to be full coverage if that's done on ivory. Maybe you don't stitch some of the places, but I could do that on Ada and do it full coverage if I wanted to. It's so pretty. Giveaways. I forgot to pick a winner. So I will, of our What You Can Stitch $20 gift card giveaway. So I will go ahead and insert the winner here over where I'm talking, so that it doesn't even matter that my camera doesn't want to focus. And congratulations if you're the winner. Please DM me on my Instagram account, which is here. And if you it's just gonna be a $20 gift card to your email. So I just need your email. Actually, I don't know what I just said, but all I need is your email. So just send me your email and I can send that to you. If you made it to this point in the video, please leave a rainstorm emoji, and I will see you guys next time, and hopefully from a different, more quiet situation. All right, thank you guys so much. Bye.